Good morning, traders. So we're still using the Bull-Williams theory and looking at the Dow Jones this morning. So I've got a few levels drawn in at the moment. So the first one is this downward trend line. So for me, every time you draw a trend line, try and draw it on fractional levels, and that'll give you a trend that you need to focus on. So for me, this is the trend. There it is there. Okay, yes, this was a gap up, and then it was basically a test of that trend line and it moves to the downside. So we are now flirting with that trend line again. And we're flirting with that trend line off a level. So there are a couple of levels here. First one is the purple line, which is the daily 200 EMA, exponential moving average. And the second one is this inside tail here. Okay, so that's a level. Remember what I say? Every tail tells a story. So we have two levels here, plus a trend line. So we've got three potential levels here. So that is just making me believe that we can expect some kind of a bounce to the downside. Now, we had 5 days, a whole week of consolidation here with inside bar, inside bar, inside bar, inside bar. And this here is, it depends how you look at it. If you just use the body, it's an inside bar. If you use the tail, it's not an inside bar. But let's just call it a half-hearted inside bar for now. And what I mean by inside bar is the body of the candle fits in this big body here. Okay, so for me, I'm just using the bodies, not the tails, and each one of these fits inside this body here. This to me, remember what I said at the beginning of last week, looked like an exhaustion bar, and I was expecting some sideways motion, and we've got it. Now, if we come down to the lower time frames, we've got the sideways motion. This indecision here still concerns me. So the whole of last week, we had all these tails all over the place. That still really concerns me. That is an indication that the buyers and the sellers are both confused and not knowing where to go. So we had a little bit of a rally up here. There was some political noise that came out. The government shutdown has ended, but if I look at the futures market now, you would have expected a little bit more out of that. That just tells me that the government shutdown was the least of the investors' worries. They're still concerned about trade wars. They're still concerned about the growth, the economic growth as well. And there's a lot of warning bells ringing around the global economy as well. So from a news perspective, there's a lot of negative news or potential negative news that is floating around. So what does that mean for me? I'm not entirely convinced, to be honest with you, of a move to the downside, nor am I convinced of the move to the upside. One thing I do know for sure is if we do get above the high of Friday, that breaks this downward trend line, and then what I'd be looking for is a pullback onto the trend line for another trade to the long side. For now, I'm still in sit on hands mode at the moment, to be honest with you. This whole of last week was frustrating. So let's just get down to the 1 hour and just see what else we can see here. So we're off a level, well, multiple levels. There's three potential levels to the upside. So it would not surprise me to see another attempt at this area. Okay, we are technically half-heartedly above the alligator. So on the hour, the alligator is actually flat. And you can see what I mean. When the alligator is flat, and you see over these 2 days here, look at the violence of the moves and the lack of direction. Nobody really knows what's going on. Whereas when the alligator is standing straight up in a direction and you know, okay, I need to trade along with the trend and you can get in with it. But where we are now, not really a trend in play at the moment. It could be building for another move to the upside. So you could see this as a wedge at a level. So remember, we've got the daily 200 EMA and we've got this, we've got the trend line and we've got this inside daily tail here. So this could be a consolidation pattern of a wedge for a break to the upside. Who's to know? The other thing is it could be, let's get this, rid of that, and here's my level. So let's just tidy it up to there. Or it could be a flat top triangle off a level. Okay, so it's a 50-50 call for me at the moment, whether we're going up or down. And that is indicated by the fact that the alligator is flat as well. So sleeping alligator, like this, we're going nowhere. We're going sideways. That's pretty much it. Okay, so I think for me, there's two things I'm going to watch for this morning. And the first one is the European Open, just to see what's going to be happening in Europe. Lots of noise, noise around the economy, etc. This could just turn out to be a typical Monday. In other words, just quiet, no noise, no news, just meander sideways type day, which is very possible. For me, I think I'm looking for. My bias is more to the downside somewhere soon, but I'm not comfortable that this is a confirmed potential top yet. Okay, over the broader picture, it is possible. There's my previous high, and we got just above the previous high. Okay, so in other words, high. If we look at the daily, and you look at between the two, there's nothing. If I look on the 4 hour, you'll see there's my high, there's my next high, whereas the oscillator has formed a lower high. So the awesome oscillator has formed a lower high. Nothing much on the Williams percentage R, but this is potentially a double top. Obviously, confirmation of the double top would be a break below 24241, and that's quite far away. So we can't anticipate that this is a move. So the only thing I can anticipate right now is that we are in a zone of resistance. There is inside bars forming, and that is a potential reversal pattern. The level I'm looking to break is this area of 24672. Okay, but until that happens, in actual fact, I'd like to see this gap close first. So if we can just get this opening gap, closed, that would give me a little bit more confidence. And what it'll also do, that was the trend line, it's broken and retested. You see that? It broke up, and now we've retested that trend line. So there is merit for a move to the upside as well. Anyway, as you can hear, there's too many opportunities to the upside and downside, and when that starts happening, that just is confusion to me. So I'd rather stay out of it. So there's multiple opportunities for a long and a short out of everything that you see at the moment, and this up down, I expect that's going to continue today, to be honest. So I think we're probably going to range a bit unless something drastic happens on the political front. That's kind of what I'm expecting. Lastly, a couple of things here. So this is a wise man number one. You can see price moved down, whereas this red line is sort of going horizontal. So that's deviation from the alligator. That is a wise man number one. This is another wise man number one here. Okay, but we are still below the alligator, and we're on the half hour. So this to me is kind of looking like another attempt to the upside. So I think, let me just summarize this like this. So this is looking like the actual move, which could mean that kind of thing, but I'm reluctant to believe that we're going to break through this level that easily. Bear in mind that we are just hovering on the 200 daily EMA at the moment. Okay, if that does play out, then I'm still looking for a bit of a pullback before I get in long. I want this 200 EMA to be tested. But in my experience, unless you get a proper break like this through the 200 EMA, the probability of it actually doing something, I mean, the probability of you breaking through it again is small. And you see to the downside, you can see how we flirt with it before moving off it. Okay, so there hasn't really been another one that, well, anyway. So a little bit of confusion. I think the bulls are adamant to trying to get this above the 200 EMA. Okay, so I just want to have a look at firstly the Bollinger Bands. I just want to do that on the hour. We're below the 20 moving average. Nothing really to write home about there. If I take the 30-minute, I don't think there's anything there either. We are heading into a bit of a squeeze. We are below the 20, so but we are grouping to downside here. So yeah, 50-50. And let's just daily. I don't think there's anything on the daily. No, nothing on the daily. I think the big thing here, looking at the ichimoku, is on the daily. We are bouncing off a cloud here. So for me, I'm expecting this as a potential double top. I'm not sure I'm expecting it to play out. It may play out, may surprise me, but I think consolidation is more what we're going to be looking at over the next few days. So if we do break below this level, then that double top's going to play out. Anyway, so moral of the story today is everything I'm looking at is confusing me, and when that happens, it's easier just to take a day off. So the thing that I'm looking for today is this could be a flag, could be a flat top triangle, or it could be a flag. Not really clear either way. And I suppose that's the beauty about trading. We do have a bit of divergence forming on the higher time frames, and we're also at a pretty strong weekly level with diversions as well, and that's continuation divergence to downside. So yeah, I think be very cautious today. That's the only advice I can give right now. Is I think this 200 daily EMA is the one that we need to pay attention to, and until this level goes, and unfortunately that's actually the level, until this level of 24811 goes on the daily level. So in other words, we want a daily close above that. We are still sort of in limbo, just going sideways at the moment. Okay. So yes, I don't think there's anything here that I'm going to trade at the moment. The things that I'm going to be looking for are a close below these fractional levels here, and we haven't had a close yet on the half hour, and I'll probably be looking at that at the hour. So I want to close below these levels on the hour. That's going to give me confidence that we're going to continue moving the downside. The other side of me is saying I'm expecting a second move to the upside. So this was up, down. I'm expecting another move up to come and test this level, and hopefully form a lower high with a fractional on either the half hour or the hour, preferably, but anything like that. So the half hour's already given us lower highs, but we haven't had one on the hour. So the one on the hour is what we're looking for. We're looking for a lower high here from this level here, and then that will give me the confidence that I need to look at a short. But for now, I see opportunity for shorts and longs, and as I say, when I see that, rather just keep my money in my pocket, because 9 times out of 10 I'll pick the wrong direction. Okay, so anyway, guys, that's my view for now. I think if we do get back up into this 24811 and we get some price action without breaking a new high, I think I will be tempted for a short, but and it's going to be like a 60-point stop loss, so it's worth the risk, but it's going to be a guess rather than a calculated risk. Okay, something's brewing here, and my bias is just saying the potential top. Yeah. Anyway, so total confusion. So my actual advice is just sit on your hands until you see something like this pin bar, or engulfing inside bar like this. Until you see something like that, stay out of it. And you'll probably only find that it'll probably be quiet through the morning, and then at the US Open is when we can look at it. But yeah, I'm very wary of a long and I'm wary of a short. So I think I'd rather just sit on my hands. Anyway, guys, no, that's not helping anybody. So if anything changes, I will let you know in the comments of the video. Whatever you do, stay safe, keep those stops really tight, and enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers for now.